And welcome back to Atlanta & Company. I'm Tom Sullivan. Well, you hear the stats every day, every week in the news. You didn't think it would happen to you, but now you're one of the millions of unemployed Americans. You know, while it's easy to become upset and depressed, you can't really afford to lay around waiting for the job to come knocking at your door. You got to get out and find a full-time job, and that in itself is a full-time job. Well, in a special two-part series, what to do before and after getting laid off, our shopping queen, Fatima Metakarimi, is going to give some practical advice for surviving unemployment. Last week, she had tips for being proactive and preparing for unemployment while you're still employed, and today she joins us for part two. So let's say that day has come. It's quite a shock,
Yeah.
you know, you get the pink slip and maybe you have a luxury of a 2-week notice, but so you have some time to kind of, what's the first step? You get that notice, you're canned. What do we need to do next?
Well, the first step is to just take a deep breath and realize that it's time to go into auto mode and not get emotional about it, because that's really not going to help anyone. So the first thing that you should do is, probably you're not the only one who's being let go. Go around and your colleagues, supervisors, anyone that you've worked with that you could use as a reference for the future, go and get their contact information at this time, because you never know where people are going to end up in the next few months, and you want to make sure that you have the best possible references for your job search. So you don't want your future employer calling your old job and no one knowing really who you are to even give you a good reference. So that should be the first thing that you do before anyone leaves the building.
Okay, and then you know, we're there. It's the first full day. We're out. No, I'm not going to the workplace anymore.
Yeah.
And I've gotten over the shock. Now what do I do?
Well, hopefully when you were at your last day on the job, you got all the forms and everything that you needed from your HR office for you to fill out for all your benefits. And now it's time to apply for all your unemployment benefits. So the first thing I would recommend for people to do is to visit the Department of Labor's website to find out all the requirements, forms, information, documents that they need to apply for unemployment. You need to do that as soon as possible, because with the number of people applying for unemployment, it can take quite a while before your benefits kick in, and you need to make sure that you understand all that's required for you, when you're supposed to file, how you're supposed to file. Make sure you understand all of that.
Sure, and I know there's many different factors that play into how much money you can get from unemployment. Because when I got canned from my last job, I went there and I didn't quite meet all the criteria.
Right, exactly. So you want to also make sure that you understand all of that and that your resume is up to date, because a lot of the information that they're going to ask you is basically from your resume, like when were you last employed, what your other jobs were, basically your work history in the past 18 months is what they're going to be asking. So your resume should always be up to date. If it's not, get it up to date. You're going to need the information both for unemployment as well as seeking new jobs that you're going to be out there looking for, because the first thing that they're going to ask for is to see your resume. And don't forget about your alumni career services, because they're available to help you as well. And that's a great resource that's often overlooked, both for helping you tune up your resume as well as helping you find a job. So definitely look there too.
Yeah, to have some advice like that, because see, a lot of people who get laid off, maybe been in the job for a long time, don't have a resume. You know, like I was in that same situation. So, you know, knowing where to go to get help to structure it is really important.
Yes, exactly. And along the same lines is make sure you have a professional image on your resume. If your email is cutegeorgiapeach@email.com, that's not the most necessarily professional image that you want to convey. So get an email address that has your first name and last name in it, preferably, whether you have to put a 1 or a dot or something in it, but still very professional. And business cards, even though you're unemployed and you don't have a job, it's still very good to have business cards printed up, and you can do that very inexpensively and quickly at vistaprint.com. And I recommend on one side having your contact information, and on the other side having a very brief bio resume so people know exactly what you're looking for.
Okay, so do we need to put a picture on a business card? I see a lot of real estate agents who do that.
Yeah, I would not recommend doing that just because a picture that looks good to you might not look good to the next person. So I would not recommend putting a business card, a picture on a business card.
All right, so now that's all happened on just day one.
Yes.
Now what do we do on day two, Fatima?
Well, day two is, once you've sort of gotten all of that processed, is send an email out to all your friends and family, because your best referrals for jobs are going to be from people that know you. So all your past acquaintances, colleagues, friends, family, send them an email. Put all of their names in the BCC field.
Yeah.
Don't send a mass email with everyone's email addresses exposed, but send them out and tell them that you've been laid off and you would love their help in finding a job, and make it easy on them. Very clearly in the email, say what your skills are, what type of of positions you're looking for so that they can keep their eyes and ears open for you for what you're looking for. Don't just attach your resume and say my resume is attached. That's too much of a headache for them to go and say, well, what kind of job are they looking for? What are they looking to do? Make it easy on them.
Yeah, strength in numbers. The more people you got out there helping you, the better you're going to be. And you always say that networking is so key. 80% of the hunt, right?
Yes, 80% of jobs are found through people who you know, through networking, and especially in this economy where budgets are so tight, companies are cutting back. They're not paying for recruiters to come and find you. They're not paying for ads, whether it's online or in the newspaper, for you to go and find them. They're sort of just sending the word out through their employees, through their industry contacts, maybe through their own website, that we're, have some openings. So you want to make sure that you're in the know, because if you're not in the know, you're not even going to know, because those jobs are not advertised. And in Atlanta, there are so many networking opportunities. So you should have technically been doing it while you were still employed, but it's never too late to get out there, get your face out there, get your name out there, and start networking.
Right, and if you're over like the age of, what, 45, it's not the end of the road. Age can mean experience, you know?
Definitely. You can definitely highlight it in a more positive light, but you do have to be aware, unfortunately, that it's going to be a little bit more effort on your part. And even though you might think, well, I've got all these years of experience and I should be the first person looking to get hired, sometimes employers are just wanting to go with the cheapest option, and you have to educate them on the value that you bring to the table.
Yeah, and sell yourself and say, you know what, I can't think out of the box. I have initiative, and I'm up to date with all new technology.
Exactly. And in order to do that, you might actually want to take some classes or anything. This would be a good time to up your skills as well while you're unemployed.
Like Excel and all those other things out there that I'm not quite sure how to operate. Hey, great advice too, Fatima, as always. For more advice, money-saving tips, and some ideas on what to do if you've been laid off, we have a great resource for you. It's a Shopping Queen's website, and her website is at shoppingqueen.com. So shoppingqueen.com, find out everything you need to know. And tune in next Monday. We'll have